Hi, I'm Zach West, winner of the 2023 Harken Youth International Match Racing Regatta, and this is a blockhead video. So match racing is a little bit different to fleet racing. Same kind of idea, you still want to finish first, but instead it's a 1v1 style racing. So both teams, it's two boats, both teams will enter into the start line at 4 minutes to go. They'll have 4 minutes to basically try and attack each other, jostle positions, and try and end up with the best time position you can relative to the other boat. And then it's usually it's a 2-lap windward leeward with a gate and then straight through the finish line to finish. So it's pretty much the same premise as fleet racing, just for match racing, the whole focus is on the other boat, not a whole bunch of boats. Yeah, so winning the start is really important. You effectively spend the whole 4 minutes before you enter into the start line to the go, basically joshing for positions and trying to get penalties. The whole aim of it is to come off really clean from the start and either be even or ahead of the other team. So the whole point of that 4 minutes, literally 4 minutes just to come off in a position that is advantageous. Once you pass there, all the boats are exactly the same. It's basically like one design. It's not just your lasers, Etchels, those kind of boats. And then, yeah, from then it's just the boat speed usually is pretty much the same. So it's all about, if you can just get that small advantage, then you have control going into scenarios and you can control the game, and the other team has to try and either break that control or try and get a penalty or try and break. But basically, if you can start in front, quite often you end up winning. I like to think I know the rules quite well. We do bring the rule book out as much as we can to try and learn and practice. But yeah, the rules knowledge is very, very important. You end up having on-water umpires. So usually you have about 2 umpires, and then sometimes down to 1, and they will follow both the boats with the boats' perspectives. And then what we'll do during the race is if we have a piece of the other boat, we'll try and get a penalty on the other team to try and put them in disadvantage. So for example, you might even give it off a short position or short lead. If you get a penalty on the team, they then have to do a circle, you don't. So it's really important for you to know the rules and exactly know where to push it and where not to push it as well. Match racing regatta is pretty hotly contested. There's a lot of teams, a lot of international teams who are all very closely matched. So there was constant nail-biting moments going through the whole course. We had people going past the top mark, past the bottom mark, all just trying to, we can actually just disregard the course at some points and just make sure that you can come off the best you can. So sometimes we might even sail way past ley lines or way past top marks just to make sure that either you can get a penalty out of the boat or you can peel away in a position where you'll be in front. So there was, yeah, heaps of it. There was actually one point at the bottom mark against the British team in the finals where we ended up jibing on top of them, stole their wind. They couldn't set their kite very well, so they ended up dropping. We kept our kite and actually managed to surf a wave into the bottom mark, managed to just about get room. They decided to shut the door on us, but we managed to get the overlap because they were inside the zone. And then we actually ended up, he actually ended up hitting the mark. Mark moved out the way, we slotted in that gap. And then the kite basically dropped on their boat, on our boat. It was all a bit of a shambles, but we managed to come away actually relatively cleanly to taking what happened. And they managed to get the penalty on the other boat. So that was one of the very, very hectic moments, and probably one of the most crucial moments of the regatta for us. So Coffin's Corner is a bit of a match racing kind of lingo for it. So it's basically the area to the left-hand side of the pin end. So basically the benefit of putting someone, your opponent, in Coffin's Corner is that when they come back or try and re-enter into the start line, they'll be on port. Whereas if you're coming at them, you'll be on starboard, so you have the advantage going back. It's very difficult once you're in that position to try and get back into the starting line, because what can actually happen is that the other opponent can literally stop you from starting and almost time you out from the start line, or take you off to another country basically, and then turn back when they want to, and the boat that's trailing, who will always be on starboard when the other boat tacks into port, will have the control going through. One of the main things we try and do in training is, particularly going to this regatta, we knew that we'll be coming against really tough teams, and quite a lot of times skippers are very consumed about what's happening to try and make sure the boat's in the right position. So often you might create little set moves or set plays where if certain things aren't called or communicated, the team will just act kind of autonomously. So often the crew will just switch into action and then just go straight for it. So yeah, a lot of training, a lot of set moves created, and just try and sail as one instead of like as a whole team acting as one, not as individuals on the boat. So next thing for me and my team, so we've got the, not match racing, but we've got the Sailing Champions League Asia Pacific Finals coming up. So we're looking to defend our title from last year. So we won the Youth and Open division. So we're hoping to defend that and then hopefully go into Europe for the World Finals. And then outside that, we're looking to try and get onto the World Match Racing Tour. So we're looking at events in Europe and some of the US Grand Slam to try and get involved in some of those as well.